Today we're actually going to be talking about how to relieve that stiff, achy hip. You have guessed it, the one through here on the outside. And I want to teach you some tips today that you may find really useful in terms of helping provide some more mobility, some comfort, and allowing you to keep up with life that much better. Hi, I'm Dr. Matt. Welcome to my quick self-help videos where I share simple and easy tips on stretching and movement to help you improve your quality of life. Remember to share and subscribe. Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Bradbury, family corrective chiropractor here in Georgetown, Ontario, Canada. And this is our practice, One Life Family Chiropractic. Today I actually want to share you some tips and some things I've found have worked really well for myself, whether it's part of my evening routine or just a part of the routine when I go warm up at the gym or do some mobility work. Some things that I find really useful that I wanted to share with you that you may find applicable to your life as well in terms of relieving that stiff, achy hip, and some things you can integrate right now. Of course, if you're just tuning in and you're watching this, make a point of actually standing up, grabbing your phone in your hand, bring it up just like so. And I want you to take a little bum break from the chair, get your spine straighter. Remember, instead of sitting like this with your hips flexed, remember, if you practice this over and over again, guess what you get better at? This. So I want you to take a moment, stand up, and if you've been enjoying our content and you've been enjoying it that much, I'd love to see more of you. Please consider liking and subscribing to our channel as well. I love answering your questions and interacting with you there online. So remember, when it comes to your hip, if you only provide this much range of motion throughout the day from standing to sitting, guess what you're most likely going to get? That range of motion right there, from here to here. So really, you have to find the end ranges. And one of the things that I do to help provide more mobility to myself and as well help strengthen the area to provide that cue when I go to the gym or keep up with my kids, I'm going to teach those things to you today. A few simple stretches. Also, I enjoy sitting in the bottom of the squat position. And of course, I don't forget about the health of my spine and my nervous system. You'll see, you probably remember, but your brain controls your body, sending the nerve messages to the muscles, the organs. If you're shifted and stuck in your spine, whether it's your lumbar spine, your sacrum, or up here, you may be compensating, and you may be ways you feel, but also in ways you have no idea about. And this whole system may help you function better, may help you heal better, and get that much more out of life. And it's something I've included in my life regularly for the past 17, 18 plus years in terms of getting checked regularly to help my spine and my nervous system function at my best so I can keep up with you that much better and keep up with my kids that much better. So when we dive into the hip, remember, one of the simple things that you can do for yourself right now is just go ahead and test. So I'll go and test some range of motion. If I have a stiff, achy hip on this side, I'll look at both sides. So what I'll do is I'll test this one, see what the range of motion's like, bringing my knee right up and in. I'll test the other one, see what the range of motion's like, see how far my knee can come up to my chest with ease. And then what I'll do is I'll often start with the side that's stiffer. And one of the simple things you can do is actually just get on the edge of a table like this. And what I'm going to do is just bring my leg out like so. And I'm going to push my knee down just like this. I'm going to lean over and I'm going to feel all that tension in my glute. And feel most of the tension in my glute, but I'm keeping my spine straight. I'm leaning over and I'm holding this anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. That's focusing on the external rotation part. And that's really the part that I think about as exaggerated when you're at the bottom of a squat. And I'll show you the squat here because I think on top of this, the squat is often a really good test for how well you can get down and move. And if you can't do this, just grab a door jamb or grab a door handle and squat down and start spending some more time in that position every single day. My goal is always 5 to 6 minutes at this point on most days of the week in terms of opening up my hips. And I'll show you what that looks like right now, because this can actually be a bit of a test and a bit of a intervention, if you will, in terms of improving your hip mobility and helping to relieve that stiff, achy hip and provide some better mobility and more comfort. So I'll do big toes down and I'll sit right down. And what I'm focusing on is keeping my torso as upright as possible, but also bringing my knees out just like this. And I'll sit here 5 to 6 minutes at a time, and I may feel one side is a little bit stiffer. And the neat part is that external rotation stretch I just did, I can start here or doing that test when I'm standing up, go back, do that external rotation stretch like this, and see what my mobility is like, holding this for 1 to 2 minutes. And I'll do both sides, and then you can go back to the squat and see what the difference is. Now, we focused on the external, the turning out part of the knee. I want you to try now the internal. How you do that is you can come up just like this, and what I'm gonna do is thinking about the 90-90 position. Now I'm gonna come down just like this. Pause. I can feel a lot of tension in this hip when I drop down. So I'll hang out. I can just hang out here and breathe. This one, I'm gonna hold it anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes when I do this, focusing on the internal rotation of the right hip. I can also show you from the other side, drop down, just like this. I see both of my hips on internal rotation are actually pretty stiff today. And I'm coming down. Again, trying to keep that torso as upright as possible and letting this knee drop in. And you can take note of your range of motion improvement just by looking at the distance between this knee and the ground. If you want, you can even apply a little bit of pressure. If you really want to push it a little bit harder, which I would suggest is more as you advance things, take the 12-pound, 10-pound kettlebell and just provide a little bit of weight and hold that position for those 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Breathing. So we've gone ahead, we focus on the external, the internal. Remember, a lot of times improving the range of motion will help a lot with that stiff, achy hip. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna show you some simple strengthening exercises, which I have found really useful in terms of cueing those postural muscles, as well as those small hip muscles. And what I'll do is I'll actually just go on my side like this, and you may notice right away that one side's a little bit weaker or fatigues faster. But I've just started from my knee bent. I'll come up, I'll pause, and back down. I'll come up, I'll pause, and back down. And I've progressed it. This one, you can do anywhere from 10 to 15 reps per side. And as I was saying, you may notice one side not quite as strong as the other, but at least 2 sets a day when you're doing this one. Of course, with your stiff, achy hips, I want to show you with this lacrosse ball right here in your glute med, your TFL, all that region on the side of your hip. A lot of times you can just hang out there on the daily or before your workouts, breathe. You notice I got the lacrosse ball there. You may find it very tender and even more so on one side compared to the other. Focus on breathing. And when you find those trigger points, hang out there. Just let your body weight sink into them and breathe. And you may hang out here anywhere from 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. You can roll up and down. Focus on both sides. And then when you wrap this up, and the last one, when you wrap this up, you can stand back up. You can check again how your hip moves by doing this test. And you can even do the squat again and see what the difference is. Just like this. Getting down. And I'll use my elbows to push my knees open a little more. So you have 2 tests. This one on its own can be a simple intervention that you can use, and 5 to 6 minutes a day. Start with less. You may start with 30 seconds to a minute, but you can really see, try this, test it out, do the stretches, do some of the mobility work, and then come back and put this together over a series of days, stack it consecutively. Let's say 2 to 3 months of making small changes, working on hip mobility, working with the soft tissue ball, working on the stretches regularly, and watch the difference. Of course, thanks so much for tuning in today. And as I've mentioned in the past, I've got a big mission in terms of helping people understand their health better. When it comes to spinal health, they need better health, but also they need more function for better health too. And I simply cannot do it alone. So if you can take a moment, please consider sharing this. If you know someone who struggles with hip mobility or discomfort, grab the URL and send it to them directly. Anyways, thanks so much for your consideration. I appreciate you, and have a great day.